medieval torture devices that still haunt us today. We'll talk about medieval history's darkest inventions, torture devices. This topic is disturbing, but it's an important part of history. Our goal is to understand how cruel the justice system was in the past and how much progress we've made. The rack. Medieval Europe's most famous torture device was the rack. It was a simple-looking wooden frame, but its effect was devastating. The rack's working was simple. The victim was tied up and slowly stretched until joints dislocated. The process lasted for hours. Tower of London had a famous rack known as the Duke of Exeter's daughter, because the Duke of Exeter introduced it to England. The psychological effect was even greater than the physical. Just seeing the rack was enough for confession in many cases. Medieval belief was that pain reveals truth, but modern psychology says that people lie under torture to avoid pain. The Iron Maiden. Iron Maiden was probably the most terrifying-looking device. It was a human-shaped iron cabinet with spikes inside. An interesting fact is that historians debate whether Iron Maiden was really used in medieval times or if it's a later invention. A famous Iron Maiden is preserved in Nuremberg that attracts tourists, but experts say it was made in the 18th century. Real or fake, this device became a symbol of medieval torture. It's frequently shown in Hollywood movies. The psychological impact was real, even if it wasn't actually used. Just the threat was enough for confession. The breaking wheel, or Catherine wheel, was used for both public execution and torture. The victim was spread and tied to a large wheel. Then bones were broken with iron bars. Finally, the wheel was displayed on a pole. This method was common in Germany and France for serious crimes. The name was inspired by Saint Catherine of Alexandria's martyrdom. Public spectacle was important in the medieval justice system. They wanted to show people the consequences of crime. The wheel-breaking process was systematic. Bones were broken in a specific order for maximum pain. Medical knowledge was used for torture. The brazen bull. The brazen bull came from ancient Greece, but was also used in medieval times. It was a hollow bull made of bronze or brass. The victim was locked inside the bull and fire was lit underneath. Due to the bull's design, screams sounded like musical sounds. The ironic twist is that inventor Paralaus was tested by Phalaris himself in this device. The creator became a victim of his own creation. Medieval rulers used this device for intimidation. Even if they didn't actually use it, the threat was enough. The bull's craftsmanship was impressive. Engineers carefully designed acoustics for sound effects. The Judas cradle, or Culla di Giuda, was an Italian invention that spread to Spain and other European countries. It was a pyramid-shaped seat on which the victim was slowly lowered. The process could be stretched for hours or days. This device was extensively used in the Spanish Inquisition. Torture was common practice for forcing religious conversion. The device's design was diabolical. Maximum discomfort with controlled pressure. Engineers designed it after studying human anatomy. Psychological torture was also included, the victim knew that pain would gradually increase. The heretic's fork was a simple-looking but effective torture device. A metal fork with two ends. This fork was strapped to the victim's neck. Speaking or moving became painful. Psychological pressure was maximum. It was commonly used in religious persecution. Special punishment for people who challenged church authority. Latin words were engraved on the device. Obiuro I recant on one side. It was a constant reminder for confession. The medical effect was long-term. There could be permanent damage to neck and throat. The pair of anguish, or choke pair, was an expandable metal device for different purposes. The pear-shaped metal device was divided into segments. It was expanded with a screw mechanism. There were different versions for different body parts. There was a color coding system to indicate purpose. Symbolic punishment was important in medieval justice. The device was chosen according to the nature of the crime. Manufacturing precision was impressive. Medieval metalworkers had high skill levels in making torture devices. Why these devices existed? Why did these devices exist? There were multiple reasons. First, confession extraction. Confession was the most important evidence in the medieval justice system. Second is social control. The objective was to control the population through fear. Third, religious authority. Both church and state used torture to maintain power. Fourth, limited scientific understanding. Pain psychology and human rights concepts didn't exist. In the medieval mindset, physical pain was a method of spiritual purification in many cases. This dark history teaches us important lessons about human progress. The modern justice system has completely rejected torture. The Geneva Convention and UN Declaration have set clear guidelines. Psychological studies prove that torture gives unreliable information. People lie under torture to stop pain. Today's legal system prioritizes due process, fair trial, and human dignity. It's much better than medieval arbitrary justice. These devices are preserved in museums for educational purposes. It's important to remember the past so history doesn't repeat. Human civilization has made moral progress. Concepts of individual rights and dignity have developed. This story reminds us that justice doesn't mean revenge, but rehabilitation and fair treatment.